Hear me clearly. America is not a racist country.
We need to address, well, first of all, no, I don't think America is a racist country.
This video has been brought to you by racism. Racism is wherever true Americans are. Perfect. Stated, I was racially profiled while driving through my friend's neighborhood. They didn't like the way that I was driving, so they felt the need to hit my car with a cone and throw a rock through my window. All I wanted to do was de-escalate until police came, because I wasn't about to get charges pressed on me for no reason.
Right here, buddy. Right here. Tell me what you were doing. Burning out, racing through my neighborhood. Burning out, racing through my.
You not to.
Get out my face.
I'm not in your face. Get out of my neighborhood, fuckwad.
Who got a gun? Who got the gun?
The guy who's got a permit to carry.
You got a gun?
You're the one that would get a gun.
All right. All right.
Get out of this neighborhood.
All right.
Get out of this neighborhood. You don't belong here.
But y'all want to smash the window? Smash the window?
Yeah, he did.
Two Caucasian men were arrested in Florida this week and accused of racially profiling after allegedly hurling a massive stone at a black teen who was driving in their neighborhood. Quote, I was racially profiled while driving through my friend's neighborhood. They didn't like the way I was driving, so they felt the need to hit my car with a cone and throw a rock through my window. All I wanted to do was de-escalate until police came because I wasn't about to get charges pressed on me for no reason. According to Seminole County records, Donald Eugene Coursey, age 52, and Howard Oral Hughes, age 61, was arrested Wednesday. They were first identified by social media sleuths. Coursey faces felony charges for damage to property and launching a weapon into a vehicle. Hughes has been charged with felony property damage and misdemeanor for battery. Both men have since been released from Seminole Jail on a bond. In the video initially posted on Facebook Tuesday, a man who has identified himself as JJ's father, CJ Jones, stated, "This video of my son took while calling 911, and as you can see, they admit to having weapons. In the video, one of the men in a blue shirt stands with his hands on his hip, watching the person hold the camera, presumed to be JJ. Another man in sunglasses walks around a white Mercedes sedan with his phone pointed towards the license plate. JJ asks if the man had a weapon, and one of them says he has a permit to carry. After the two men trailed JJ on the residential street, other people in the neighborhood came out to inspect what's going on. A woman in the street with a striped towel wrapped around her waist and a cross hanging from her neck accuses JJ of possessing a weapon. JJ walks back to his car and films glass shards all over the back seat and a dent on the car door. In a follow-up Facebook video, Jones posted Tuesday, he mentioned that the incident happened in the Forest Lake neighborhood of Stanford. The video then shows police arriving on scene as residents stood outside of their homes. Jones stated that he wanted to go live just so we would have evidence in case something happens to me out here today. He then turns the camera towards the house where his son was supposed to visit a friend. Quote, even when I was coming into the neighborhood, I had a couple yell at me. Black people cannot stay around here. So for those of you who always want to come through here and say that racism, bigotry, discrimination doesn't exist in America, and that black people always want to have, in a sense, this victim mentality, and they want to, try to live in the past. This is currently 2022. This is something that you would have possibly seen out of a movie, right? That was dealing with the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. But we're in 2022, where a young black man was driving through his friend's neighborhood with his friend in a car, mind you. And you hear them allege and accuse him, right, of one or two things, right? Number one, they basically try to state that he has a weapon on him. Now, they didn't initially say it, but the Karen did. So this is the main thing that I always try to tell people between, the communities and how things roll. Caucasian women will always be with their Caucasian men. They will always be on code no matter how much they disagree with one another. No matter how much they bicker or argue in public, at the end of the day, that woman knows what time it is when it's time, right? And then the other accusation comes when it was dealing with him driving, right? You heard one of them basically state, oh, I told you not to do this. You're doing burnouts on the road. You're doing this. You're doing that. There is no proof. There's no validity to anything that he is basically stating at this moment in time. And on top of that, his friend, who is more than likely Caucasian, because I did see a young man. If you go back and look at the video, you'll see a younger guy basically, walking on the side. I think that was the one that was stated to have been hit with a cone, right? So throughout all of these things that they're basically trying to accuse him of, why didn't you just call the police? Why are you ganging up on this young man where there's several adults here? You guys literally are attacking him, harassing him, and antagonizing him, trying to cause a reaction, because that's what it looks like, right? Because let's just keep it 100%. If this was a grown black man, let's say somebody that was in his 30s, right? You can see that he's well defined, muscular. Let's say he was probably about 6'2". Maybe the brother is about like 280, solid muscle. Do you think that those two men would have been brave enough to step in that dude's face even if they had a weapon on them? No, they wouldn't have. No, they wouldn't have, because the one thing that they fear is physical contact. So they got in his face trying to provoke, right, an emotional, physical contact reaction directly out of that young man so that they would be justified in doing what it is that they set up to do. Because you heard the young man basically state, he panned around the camera, he made sure to get everybody. He was like, okay, so which one of y'all got the weapon, right? And you saw a guy in blue basically walking on the other side of the road acting like he was security, right? Trying to sit up there and see the scene, trying to see what's happening, right? Because he's trying to get the setup and he's trying to be in position. So just in case he gets physical, he has a justification and a reason. And he's going to have all of his cohorts there that are going to side with him and say, oh, well, he was getting violent. It looked like he had this. He was doing this and he was, right? So that's why you saw the Karen in the background sitting back there filming. She was making sure to get a wide shot. She more than likely didn't film the whole interaction, but she made sure to film the main interaction where they were getting in his face. And she made sure to stay directly back so she can catch everything, because she was going to try to frame it as if he was the one that provoked and made the situation happen. So the response would be the guy in the blue that has the weapon, that is able to carry a concealed weapon, who would have ended up harming and potentially taking the life of that young black man right there. But like I said before, people gotta understand what exactly this is. This is what racism looks like. At the end of the article, I sat up there and stated what was said when I think it was the father came into the neighborhood, where they were yelling, basically stating that black people can't live here. Now, isn't it pretty funny that these are the same people that are gentrifying black communities and other communities across America? These are the same people that if you were to go to their neighborhoods 10 years ago, they would look at you strange. Are you lost? Do you belong here? Do you know where you are? Do you know somebody here? Are you visiting? Are you delivering something? They would have all of these questions for you. But notice how black people don't exactly treat them the same way once they get into our neighborhoods, once they come to our cities, once they go to our business. Like I said before, there's a clear-cut difference in how it is that black people will treat everybody, right? Versus how Caucasian people will treat people. Black people will literally welcome people with open arms, no matter how disrespected, no matter how slapped up, no matter how brutalized, no matter how massacred, no matter how harmed, no matter how demoralized, no matter how devalued, no matter how belittled, no matter how many names you call black people are still the most welcoming individuals on the planet, bar none. This is not up for debate. This is not up for discussion. Nobody is going to, oh, but I have these other, I don't care, because it don't matter. Because like I said before, this is clear cut a difference. This is how takeovers happen. How do you think Africa got colonized? That's because the Africans were pretty much welcoming to the Europeans. They allowed them to come from their cold lands up north over into the sunland so that they can sit up there and enjoy themselves, enjoy the fruit, enjoy the food, and enjoy the different types of things that are there. And then what happened? Land slowly started getting taken. People started getting taken. Things were destroyed. Libraries were destroyed. Knowledge was lost. And now all of the minerals and the resources are being reaped, directly from the land and placed everywhere else but to the people that actually live on that land. And then you have Caucasian people that are there in Africa where they want to sit up there and dictate to people, oh no, we don't want you here. You can't be here. This is our land. This is our town. This is our city. You can't be here. Huh? Excuse me? But yet you want to come from all the way from Europe, and then you want to come to a whole nother land. You want to try to dictate stuff. Like I said, this is pretty much the same exact thing, right? Because you heard how he said, this is my block. This is my street, as if he has someone 100% ownership of that whole land that is there, that all of those homes, that all of that piping, all of that electricity, as if he 100% owns all of that stuff that is there. Realistically, you don't own nothing. That is what? God's land. So you're falsely claiming ownership on something that you don't even really own. And then if we want to take it a bit deeper, you're claiming land that your people stole. You people sat up there and murdered, you robbed, you pillaged, you almost eradicated a whole group of people, but yet y'all want to be the same ones to try to tell black people to go back to Africa. Y'all want to be the same ones telling us that we don't belong here. Y'all want to be the same ones telling us that we got to respect America, and if we don't, we were here before you. We found this land before you did. But yet y'all forget that. Just like y'all forget the facts that we're the ones that taught you how to bathe. We taught you essentials when it came to cooking, right? We taught you a variety of things, especially if you want to go to, such things as different agriculture, mathematics, astrology, and so on. Like I said before, when you think about all the great civilizations you had in Rome and the Greece and all this other type of stuff, right? All of those great European things, right? Where did they go to study again? Whose schools did they go to that were free during that time where you didn't have to pay for nothing? If you wanted to come learn, you would just come learn. Oh, that's right. You went to Africa. You went to Africa to get all of that knowledge to become quote unquote woke and the gods that you are. Because before that, you didn't have any sense of anything. You really didn't. You really just thought that y'all were the only ones here and that was it. Y'all were still sitting up there pillaging and eating each other and walking on all fours, but yet y'all the ones that want to act like y'all the utmost civilized people. But yet this is the type of behavior that y'all want to sit up here and do to a young black man. But like I said before, y'all real strong when y'all got some type of weapons. But when it comes to an even ground where it's this type of strength versus your strength, you ain't trying to buck up on nothing. You ain't trying to run your mouth on nothing. The only time that y'all want to really run your mouth is one of two things. Y'all got a group or y'all got weapons. Because other than that, y'all ain't trying to say nothing to nobody. You ain't trying to say nothing to nobody. Like I said before, it is what it is at the end of the day. This is clear cut what racism looks like. And if people want to debate and say that this is not racism, like I said, you are one of those ones that are either a part of the racism or you help to enable the racism. And it doesn't matter if you're black. You sit up there, you're a part of that racism, or you're helping to enable because you're siding with a whole nother group of people.